Hi guys, in this video I cover nested conditions and I go over some of the gotchas that we have when we want to simplify nested condition into a single condition. Let's start out with an example. Let's say we want to apply a discount for somebody who has graduated and is in the age of 18 to 25. So I create a scanner class to read an input. I output a prompt, graduate. This can be true or false. And I have a Boolean variable, has graduated, where I read from scanner.next Boolean. And then I have a second prompt that asks for the age. What's your age? And I have an integer variable named age, and I read in from scanner next in. So I have these two variables, and now I use a condition has graduated. And inside, if this is true, I enter the then block. Inside the then block, I check if the age is greater or equal to 18 and the age is less than or equal to 25. And if this is the case, I put you qualify for a discount. Now let's run this and test how it works. So that you recently graduated, true. What's your age? 22. You qualify for a discount. This works. Now if any of them is false, let's say I graduated, but my age is 26. Nothing was outputted because we didn't enter the second if. So the first one here is true. When this was true, we entered the then block, which is this part. The first part of this then block is an if condition. So it checks this condition here. This one was false, so it skipped the then block of the nested if. Now, can we simplify this? Yes, we can. We could write it as has graduated and age less than or equal to 18 and age less than or equal to 25. Greater or equal to 18, less than or equal to 25. And then the then block stays the same. This one we can simplify because this condition has to be true and this condition has to be true in order for the then block to be executed, which is the same writing it as a single line. So if we run this a couple times, you can see when we have true and 22, both get executed. But if we have true and let's say 26, none of them get executed. So there are no possibilities, but quickly to demonstrate this. Now there's one gotcha that we have to be aware of. What if we have an else here? And I write something else. Can we still simplify this? Now, if we were to simplify it, it would look like this, right? Is this the same? So let's run this. First, we in the true part, this is the same. What about the false? Because without the else, we know it's the same. We just did this, but now we added the else there. So let's say, did you graduated? False, and we put 22. Something else. This worked, right? Now let's write something false here and the second one true. So we write true and the second one 26. Now we get it only a single time, so something is different. What's the difference? The difference is that the else block is only associated with the outer if condition. Only if has graduated is false will this one be executed. Now if has graduated is true and the nested if is false, what happens? Now if this one is true, we have the then block. If this one is false, this if doesn't have any else associated with it. So it's simply, there's nothing to do, so it continues after. Now here it is different. If this one is true, but this one is false, now all of a sudden we enter the outer else. So essentially the one below here is basically this one here, where we have two else blocks here and here. And these two have to be the same. If they are different, we cannot simplify it. If we only have one of them, we cannot simplify it. So if we had only the else here, we cannot simplify it, because when this one is false, before we didn't do anything, now if we simplify it into a single condition, all of a sudden this one has an else block as well. So if we have nested if conditions and they have an else block, really be careful before you simplify it into a single if condition. If you don't have an else block, and you can always simplify it to an and, but as soon as you have else blocks, be very careful. Thank you for watching.